So I asked you to recommend a novel. Apparently, you don't read books, so graphic novel it
I
is.
do read books. I actually read lots of books, but for some reason lately, it's like all
Well, I
been
haven't. Yeah.
nonfiction.
Well, I haven't read
Huh?
any books lately, so I can't hate too much. But what's your recommendation?
Well, obviously for graphic novels, as you know, Saga's a bit, well, Saga, you know what I'll recommend though? It's also another graphic novel that I personally have reached out to the writer, and the artist, and I've had conversations with them. I think it should be made, and it's called Alex plus Ada. And they've had offers here and there. I even when I worked at another company, or actually, I think when I was independent, I made them an offer too. Um, it's a really good book. So Saga, uh, I mean, if you read comics, everyone knows that needs to be made. But I think Brian K. Vaughan is very hesitant because it's just really out there, um, and it would be hard to make. But he has in the back of his book what's called "To Be Continued," and he recommends books. And one of them was Alex plus Ada, and it's very like minimalistic, and it's like one of those stories where it's like just 10 years into the future, and this guy's grandma buys her grandson um, an android, a female android. And it's very beautifully told. Like it's like an iPhone. He just opens a box, press a button, and they're paired. It's not this big, complicated process to have her. And in this universe, you can have an android as a boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's accepted. But it goes to some weird places. Like androids end up having their own virtual lounge, so they can like talk to each other in some other virtual realm where humans can't go. But there's like, obviously like we see that a lot, but if it could be done well and interesting, the humans versus the android war kind of type of thing. And so that is sort of addressed in the book because I do think it's the future of discrimination where AI is coming. It's just coming. It's going to be here. And like, how are we going to discriminate them? How are we going to treat them when they probably are going to end up having a lot of what we have feelings? They can be injured. Um, so I don't know. The book is so good. This book series, it's called Alex plus Ada. And then there's also nonfiction too that I think can be adapted that I read. But that's a good one. I think people should know about that one. And it's done.
Sounds
It's a
pretty
done
good.
series.
That sounds pretty good. What might spoil them is a story I have here that I wasn't going to talk about. I can mention real quick. James Cameron confirmed the discussions are taking place to reboot the Terminator franchise. Cameron told the Smartless podcast that he would shift the focus to artificial intelligence instead of bad robots, which is,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch The Matrix, it always felt like that's the prequel to Terminator, So he might
Yeah.
be doing something very similar in Getsu like he always does, but
Shoot, I gotta make
right.
my I gotta make my film because my
Well,
short. I
everything's
think everything
yeah,
is that I know, and I
yeah.
I I wrote something 10 years ago, which about the universal tale is like well, I don't even want to
Don't even say much
say what
about it,
it's
but
about. I shouldn't say too much about it,
um,
but
we were obsessed with robots for generation decades. I think with artificial intelligence, when you had that Google guy who hit the panic button and went to news outlets like, oh, it's sentient. I don't know if you heard that story, but he was saying their AI is sentient and everything. Most people, yeah, I don't think it was. Most of it looks like it's just kind of crazy. But
oh, okay.
there's even a AI thing right now that you can go online and talk to for free, and it'll talk back to you. They're not. It's still got a long way to go, but AI is
Yeah.
definitely the way.
Oh,
That's where we're headed to next. We
that's
already
where
got
we're
those.
headed. Yeah,
Remember, we had
a
those
hundred
freaking
percent.
robots, and they abused
Yeah,
that. I don't know if this is they abused the freaking robots, but AI is next because AI is what's going to pair to these robots. So you got to get the AI to.
a hundred
So
percent.
yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, that's
I
where these
agree.
stories
It's
are
the
going.
future.
Yeah,
And I
but yeah,
think we
that
need
book
to
sounds
have
good.
discussions about it. Yeah, no, it's very good. They're even saying that internet, they've noticed that just in if you look at wireless internet and when it's communicating, they feel like there's been signs it's having conversations with each other. I was like, oh, that's
Well, I mean,
interesting.
sometimes I have to talk to Siri, so just kind of. I don't know what's the Apple one. Well, although, oh wait, Siri is
I
an
talk to
Apple.
Alexa all the
Yeah,
time.
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say. I mean,
Siri-
I talk to Alexa, not Siri.
yeah.
I talk to Alexa, and she's fucking annoying
Alexa,
sometimes.
do you
Yeah,
love me?
I don't have human love figured out quite yet.
Quite
exactly.
yet. Did you hear that though? She said, I don't have human love figured
Quite
out
yeah,
quite yet.
exactly.
Dang.
Scary shit.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
the book that I would like to see made into a movie, I read it a long time ago. It's from Alan Dean Foster called The Eye Inside. I don't know. Are you
Hmm.
aware who Alan Dean Foster is?
I am, and also, and you've told me about him before. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
very prolific writer and important writer for the '80s and for
So
Star Wars,
for
like
people
you
who don't
said. Yeah,
know, he's probably my second favorite writer, Alan Dean Foster. He wrote the
nice.
novelizations for the original trilogy of Star Wars. He did the Aliens books, and then a bunch of sci-fi, Star Trek, and he does his own novels. And the thing that people don't realize, a lot of the terminology that we use in Star Wars was actually created by Alan Dean Foster. So the first novelization, they actually gave credit to George Lucas, but George Lucas didn't write it. Alan D. Foster did. And then
Yeah,
he's going off. He actually, I don't even know if he saw the movie when he had to write it. I think he just went off the script. And the script is not the scripts aren't very detailed. So a lot of the
yeah.
terminology that we use today, he actually
He
created.
created.
So
Nice.
he's actually like he should
I
be
have to
kind of
read
like
it.
a co-creator of Star Wars, really. But
Yeah,
without him, the Star Wars wouldn't be what it is today. So he's a great writer, science fiction writer. And The Eye Inside, I don't know how to explain it without giving too much away, but it's a sci-fi novel that takes place in the future, and it would work as a movie just for the fact that he finds out he's more special than he realizes, and there's a lot of action, sci-fi, and it's really good. It's a really fun read, and I think it would make a fun movie. So and
that's cool.
it's
Yeah, no, I
original.
actually got
So
to read that. Yeah,
it's my favorite novel from him. So Alan D. Foster, The Eye Inside, worth a read, and I think it'll be a fun movie. Somebody should definitely make it.